we get started, anybody who does not like, comment, or subscribe by the end of this video owes me 2,500 push-ups and 1,000 suicides. Oh, and they must be completed by Friday. Coach Carter, man, a classic, but it does have its flaws. Let's talk about it. Big Lottie gang, what's good? Throw the fours up in the chat and welcome to the new series. Now, this is a series where I'm gonna be taking all of our favorite, most classic and iconic basketball movies, breaking them down, giving my thoughts, opinions, flaws, things that I like about the movie, whatever, and then putting them in a tier list at the end, one by one. Now, I haven't thought of a name for this series yet, so I need y'all help with that. I need y'all to comment some suggestions down in the chat below. Give me some good suggestions. You know, I'm thinking something like movie breakdowns with Bilotti, but I need a little more pizzazz to the name, you know what I mean? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look at y'all suggestions. I'm gonna choose my 3 favorites, and then we're gonna vote on them on the channel, and that will be the name of the series. And whoever's suggestion I take, I'll shout them out in the next video. Yeah, sound like a deal? Let's shake hands. Virtually. All right. But we voted on the TikTok live just a few days ago, and I kind of expected this, but the first movie that we're going to be going through to start this series is the iconic and classic Coach Carter. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, I'm gonna assume that you're not a Hooper. And if you claim to be a Hooper and you haven't seen Coach Carter, stop what you're doing and go watch that right now. Like there's no excuse for that. And this is not a promo video either. That's blasphemous. That's nasty work, bro. This movie is a classic, no cap. Like, what are you doing with your life? But let me chill out on it. Maybe you were born in like 2010 or something. But let's get into the breakdown of the movie plot first. So this movie takes place in Richmond, California in the early 2000s. And let me just go on record saying you can tell that this is the early 2000s because there is so much fabric throughout this whole movie. Like, the uniforms is mad baggy, the jeans is mad baggy, the coats is big as hell, the shirts is big as hell. Like it's too much going on in this movie. Like, I'm glad we're past that era. Don't get me wrong, I ain't with the whole skinny jeans and that, but damn. So since it's obviously the early 2000s, the Avengers are not around right now, and Nick Fury has decided to go off and go into hiding and poses as a coach in Richmond, California for some reason. You know, he got to have something to do in his downtime. So he goes to see his old high school, Richmond High, playing against St. Francis, who is supposed to be like the top team in the state of California and also has the #1 player. This dude named Ty Crane. Now, I don't know if he's just the #1 player in California or the #1 player in the nation. It's got to be the nation because they calling this dude the next LeBron James. And seeing these highlights, seeing everything that he's doing to Richmond, I 100% believe them. Oh my God, he was torching these motherfuckers. What? Oh my God. It got so bad. He dunked on the center from Richmond. The center fell. And he looked at him and said, "Stay out my way, bitch. I own you." Nah, at that point we fighting. At that point we scrapping. Like, this is beyond basketball, you know? Like, I got too much pride as a man. Me personally, not letting nobody do that to me. You know what I'm saying? Now, Coach Carter's son plays for St. Francis. He's a freshman, not really getting no playing time. So I guess that's another reason why he was at the game in the first place. But that's whatever. That's besides the point. Coach Carter winds up taking the coaching job at Richmond High School. So he shows up to the first practice, and oh my God, I don't even want to talk about the fits, but yeah, this is definitely the early 2000s. They all got on the exact same thing with a different flair. Short sleeve t-shirt under a cutoff t-shirt is crazy work, but I can't do too much. You know, it's the early 2000s. I know for a fact I was wearing it back then too, even though I was only like 5-6 years old. But he presents the teams with these contracts saying that they got to maintain a 2.3 GPA, sit in the front row of classes, dress up on game days. You know, typical stuff. It's not really that crazy what he's asking for. You got a couple of guys that walk out, but what really stood out in this scene was Timo Cruz, who took it upon himself to let the coach know that he's not the one to be played with. And it got to the point where he even swung on Coach Carter, and that's when Nick Fury came out and he put him in this weird chokehold, Heimlich, whatever you want to call it, pinned him up against the wall. And Timo Cruz, the whole team is like, "Oh, like, what's going on?" Timo Cruz said, "Yo, teachers ain't supposed to touch students." Coach Carter just said in the coldest tone,
"I'm not a teacher. I'm the new basketball coach.
And welcome to the Avengers Initiative, bitch." Like, nah, so obviously he gets kicked out of practice, kicked off the team entirely, and then the team is just running suicides, just doing mad running for the next few days up until their first game. Like, it's nothing but running and defense. This is like the worst practice you could think of. He basically said, "Yeah, we don't need no basketballs today. Everybody on the line." Worst things Hooper'S can hear. No cap. So we fast forward a couple of days, and eventually Coach Carter's son winds up transferring to Richmond. it. But under the terms that he has to sign the same contract as everybody else, except instead of a 2.3, he's got to maintain a 3.7. Instead of 5 hours of community service, he commits to 50. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's going above and beyond because he want to play for his pops. I can't really be mad at that until he got hold his first practice. He showed up like 5 minutes late, saying that he had to talk to his math teacher or something like that. And coach responded by saying, yup, this my son, he's late, and he ain't no different from the rest of y'all. He got 20 suicides over on the far side of the gym while we work. Wow, I did not transfer for that. So then we finally get to their first game, and they wind up winning. It was a tough little win, and Richmond does not win often. Like, you could tell they do not win often. So everybody's celebrating, whatever. Timo Cruz, the guy who got kicked off the team earlier, was at the game. He sees them win. He meets up with the team after the game, and he's like talking a little bit of a little trash, whatever. You know, oh, they was a weak team, y'all barely beat them. And they like, yo, why you hating, bro? And he know deep down, I'm only hating because I wish I was out there with y'all. Instead, I'm out here selling drugs on the corner with my cousin Remy. And he see that they playing the sad Akon, you know, locked up music, whatever. And you know, he just want to hoop. So he come into practice the next day. He asked Coach Carter, you know, what I gotta do to play? What I gotta do to get back on the team? And he said, Coach Carter says the iconic line. All right, Mr. Cruz, in order to get back on the team, you owe me 2,500 push-ups and 1,000 super. Oh, and it must be done by Friday. So instead of just walking out and saying, nah, fuck all of that, I'll rather just transfer, Cruz says, nah, you know what? I'm gonna show him I could do this. And he starts busting out push-ups. And over the course of the next few days, we see the montage of him doing push-ups while the team is in practice. And Coach Carter is coming over to him. Not only was he being challenged physically, but also psychologically. Coach Carter coming over him talking about something. What is your deepest fear? Is it that you are adequate? Give up, Mr. Cruz. Go home. Timo Cruz ain't hearing none of that. And I ain't gonna lie. I respect it. He won't hear none of that. Unfortunately, he didn't do it. He didn't get it. He fell short in the end. But you know, the team said, you know what? He put in all that work. I'll do some push-ups for him. I'll run some suicides for him. We a team. You know, one man suffers, we all suffer. One man conquers, we all conquer, right? Yeah, okay. So the team started helping him, you know, bust out the last of his push-ups, run a few suicides, and you could tell that some of them was not really with it. Like, Coach Carter's son was not trying to do them shit. Like, he was like, bro, ain't no way. He the one who walked out. Like, but he ain't want to be the one that's like, nah, forget all that. You know, he just, all right, if y'all gonna do it, I'll do it, whatever. And he like, hey, you still owe some of these shits too. Come on, you running these with us. Now the team has come together and everything's going well. You know, they going on a little winning streak. You know, a couple bumps in the road. Turns out everybody ain't abided by the contract. The center that got straight up bitched by Ty Crane in the first scene ain't been showing up to class. Coach Carter ain't going for none of that. You know, even though the paper is writing about him saying, yo, Battle is doing this, that, the third, Coach Carter is like, nah, I don't want to hear none of that. You ain't been showing up to science, bro. So you will not play until I find out that you've been in the front row of that class, being an outstanding student. Junior said, man, this is some bullshit. I'm the one out there doing all that work, not you. He basically walked out on the team right then and there, to the point where his mom had to pull up to Coach Carter's other job. Yeah, he run like some little store in Richmond or something like that, some sporting goods store. But that's besides the point. That's a side note. Yeah, his mom pulled up to his work after hours, basically begging to let her son back on the team. He was like, yo, I need an apology from your son, not you. He in the car. Junior pulled up, let him know what it was. Coach Carter said, all right, 500 push-ups, 500 suicides, and then you can play. Junior happy as hell. Thank you, coach. Thank you. God, my mom was about to kick me out the crib, something like that. You already know. But you know, the team continues winning. They win this holiday tournament over in the suburbs of California, and they want to celebrate. So they sneak out of the hotel after they win their holiday tournament, and they pulling up on the shorties, you know, like a little mansion party. Guys getting drunk. Oh my. High school drinking. You know, you gotta remember, this is the early 2000s, so there's a few things in this movie that's not really gonna fly if it was put out today. There's also this subplot about how one of the guys on the team got his girlfriend pregnant, and he trying to get her to get an abortion on the low, but he not really trying to like say, yo, go get an abortion. He just keeps saying things like, I'm not ready, I want to go to school, and she's like, well, we can make it work, and he's like, how? Yeah, it's a lot going on. But Coach Carter finds out that they snuck out and went to the little mansion party, finds out they was all drinking, whatever. And he like, oh, y'all think that y'all just got it like that. All right, y'all want to act a fool? Say less. Gets back to the office and sees the progress reports from all the teachers. Guys not showing up, guys failing, turning in incomplete work, and he's happy at this. So you know what he did? He locks the gym, cancels the game. Y'all ain't playing no basketball. Y'all gotta take care of this in the classroom, man. It's books before ball. And I can somewhat understand that approach, but I'll give my opinion at the end of the plot breakdown. Long story short, he says, y'all not playing until y'all get it right in the classroom. Timo Cruz walks out, says, I had to beg you. I did all those sprints to get back on the team. I did all that, not you. This is bullshit. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. When Timo Cruz said that, if I'm on that team, I'd have stepped up like, nah. Don't do all of that, bro. Because you did not finish them by Friday. We was out there running with you, all right? So you ran every step and did every push-up that all the rest of us did. And nobody told you to swing on the coach the very first day. Like, let's not start capping. Now, Coach Carter starts motivating the team, giving them the stats on, you know, how basically the system is stacked against them and they not meant to make it out of Richmond or whatever. And he's really trying to build a future for them. They just focused on short-term goals, winning the championship, and that's it. They don't got no life plans after. So he's trying to make sure that they get in college and do all these great things with their lives. And I can respect that. I can definitely respect that. The rest of the community was not hearing that shit. The rest of the community was not hearing it. Coach Carter wound up going to court and they said, yo, you gotta let these boys play. You know, you doing too much, basically. And he was like, you know what? If that's how y'all feel, I'm out. Coach Carter is clearing out his office, goes into the gym one last time and sees that they having class in the gym. The team says they can take the locks off the gym, coach, but they ain't gonna stop what we started. Okay, like I said, I'll give my breakdown at the end, but a quick side note, y'all did not have to have class in the gym in order to get that message across. Like, I understand, like, cinematically and everything like that, you know, class in the gym, you're like, oh, we still focused on our grades first. I get it. Still could have just went to class. You know what I mean? Timo Cruz went back to the block because he quit the basketball team. And then his cousin, who is the big homie, winds up getting shot in front of him. Died. So then he comes back to Coach Carter and begs him to get back on the team again. Showed up at his front door covered in blood, all of this. And Coach Carter ain't asked no questions, just said, you know what? Just come focus on your grades. So then Timo Cruz has a change of heart and gives this real, you know, motivational speech. It's actually a poem. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And I don't know how the rest of the poem and the speech goes. Somebody else could Google that. They finally get their grades together. They finally get back on the court. They start winning again. They make the playoffs. And guess who they got to face in the first round? St. Francis, the #1 team in the state again. So they go into the St. Francis game and they hoop it. You know, they started off a little slow, but you know how the movies go. They turn it up, they make a comeback, and they hit the game winner. Unfortunately, it wasn't the game winner though. Ty Crane came down and said, nah, fuck all of that. I'm still him, and sent Richmond home. Get him the fuck up out of there. Pack him up, warm up the bus. Then it's got that classic black movie ending, you know, and it gives the little subtitles of how everybody is doing well in life and what they wound up doing after high school. Even though they lost, they still won in a bigger sense. And that's Coach Carter in a nutshell. Alright, so now that we all freshened up on the plot, let me give my thoughts on this movie. Honestly, I'm gonna start off with what I like about the movie. It's fairly accurate when it comes to the struggles of what goes on in public school systems in inner city and what these guys gotta go through on and off the court in order to get to a point where they, you know, can be successful. I will say it's accurate in that sense. It's also extremely motivational because it's also based on a true story. Like, I'm not gonna say that every little detail about this movie was true. We've seen interviews with the real Coach Carter in real life, and he says that the movie is fairly accurate. You know, all of those things, they might not have all happened in the same year. You know, he didn't just coach for one season and that was all one team, you know what I mean? But Coach Carter, based on a true story, you know, it was real. And I think that they did a good job representing the hood. Now, here's my problem. Not only with the movie, but also with Coach Carter's tactics. Okay? They could have won. You know, they shouldn't have been playing St. Francis in the first round anyway. Coach Carter got a little bit of an ego to himself. You know what I mean? We refuse to address how all the punishments leading up to the gym lockout were individual to start. And then all of a sudden, oh, now we a team. Timo Cruz swung on the coach and got kicked off the team. That was an individual punishment. He wanted to come back, had to do all them push-ups and suicides by himself first until the team stepped up in a positive way at the end, right? But then Junior wasn't showing up to science class, Mr. Gessick's science class, and he got kicked off the team or suspended from the team, whatever, on his own. His son signed a completely different contract than everyone else. Everyone else had to maintain a 2.3. He's maintaining a 3.7. Everyone has to do 5 hours of community service. He had to do 50. I mean, all of those are individual. But then we see the progress reports and it's a few guys failing classes, and now all of a sudden the whole team gotta suffer. I'm not with that. I would have transferred. And everyone who said, oh, but nah, there's a bigger message, you know, the team gotta stick together. I guarantee you, if you were in Kenyon's position, the one who said, you know, hey, coach, I got a 3-3. Coach Carter said, that's true, sir, but you do not score all the points for the team now, do you? Neither does Timo Cruz. Neither does Junior. Neither does does Worm. Neither does your son. What are we talking about here? So now I'm doing everything that I need to do, and I can't play ball. I can't get on scouts radar. You taking games away from me because they messing up? Oh yeah, I know a lot of y'all would have transferred. I know I would have. I know my parents wouldn't going for that either. I got a 3.3 GPA. I'm getting everything done. I need a scholarship to get into college, and you gonna take those games away from me? Yeah, nah. You tripping. You bugging out. And then on top of that, he talk about, you know, he want them to get into college, everything like that. Community college, sure, that's fine. But what colleges are they gonna be able to afford if they don't get a scholarship? College ain't cheap. Even back then, it won't cheap. You know what I'm saying? So a 2.3 get you into community college for sure. So if that's the goal, you know, just the stepping stones to, like, you know, get your little associate's degree. Maybe you could play some JUCO ball and earn a bigger scholarship. If that's his mindset, sure. But he was talking about how basketball is a privilege and it's not always gonna be there. I'm trying to raise men and this, that, the third. Look here, man. I don't know what colleges people is going to with a 2.3 GPA and 5 hours of community service and just basketball on the application. But again, community college, sure. But 4-year universities, and then you want to go hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. But I understand why this movie is so iconic, because it does give the message that there's more to life than just basketball. And I think this is a movie that every high school hooper, every young hooper in general, needs to see at some point in life. With that being said, it's time to rank this movie. And what tier is it gonna go into? Cue the drum roll. We're gonna put this movie in S tier. Obviously, it's a classic. It's a top 5 basketball movie of all time, hands down. We're not gonna disrespect, you know, how iconic and how classic this movie is. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to voice a few of my flaws. But if you stuck around to the end of this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, y'all remember our deal at the beginning of the video. You know what I'm saying? But drop in the comment section what movie I should do next. And let me know if y'all rocking with this series so far, and let me know in the comment section what movie I should do next. Until next time, y'all already know the vibes from me. It's peace, love, and happiness to everybody. Big Lighty Gang. 4's up. We out.